Welcome everyone to Bonifabcustom. Today we have a special project for Troy Smith's studio, and we're going to be talking to Troy.
Hi everyone, welcome. We've done a very special project here out of Rebar, and it's part of a collection that I've been working on for a number of years. Really the first collection that I ever launched. I of course run Troy Smith Studio here in Toronto, Canada. And we're going to build a beautiful dining table, and it's going to be original and unique, and it's done with of course rebar and a lot of epoxy, where we did a lot of research on to get the right product, because there are many products out there, and we finally settled on one from a local supplier here. But anyways, the idea came from, of course, me needing a new dining table. So there you go. But anyways, the base is made up of 1-inch rebar, which will then be powder coated. And of course, it's going to be bent into a beautiful, unusual frame. And then the top is going to have a 1.5-inch to 1 3/4-inch thick epoxy clear frame or top that will have multicolored level chunks of rebar sitting in it. So the rebar will be floating in the top of this table, which I don't think you see very often. You see a lot of river tables, and you see a lot of guys adding glitter and dyes and stuff, but this one is completely clear, and I think that's kind of what separates like a really difficult pour from something that you're going to add, you know, colors and glitter to it, which can hide, you know, all your air bubbles. So it's a lot of extra work to heat up the epoxy in a water bath to make sure that it's flowing extremely smooth, as thin as we can get it, and then it will release all the air bubbles while we're pouring, because it is a multi-stage pour. So we're going to have probably, you know, 5 to 7 pours that will build up the height and embed the epoxy, the rebar chunks in the epoxy.
So when I first saw the file that you sent me and the drawing, and it's really unbelievable. I never did anything like that, so I'm glad that you reached out to me to take on this project. Now, what I was thinking is, like, where did you get this idea or the inspiration to build something like that, like out of rebar, you know, with that shape? And
well, I spent many years in construction, and I was a contractor. I'm a trained carpenter and a builder, and I've done a lot of different projects over the years. I ran a construction company, and I was sitting on my front porch years ago looking to kind of drum up a little bit more business and be a little creative, and I started with this rebar that I had, of course, worked with on foundations, and you know, it's hidden in the walls of everywhere you go. It's everywhere you walk through a city. It's there, just hidden. So I thought, you know, why not take a textured material like rebar, that has a natural rib to, of course, you know, grip the concrete while it's in the wall, and I thought, you know, it makes a perfect medium for sculpting, and basically you can do anything with it, because it's you know, metal, and you can heat it up with torches or, you know, forges or whatnot, and you can bend it into basically a sculpture is what we're going for.
Awesome.
So I think of you know, creative ways, things that I haven't seen done before, materials, you know, just trying to come up with something unique that's you know, hasn't been seen before. And that's really what Troy Smith Studio does. We focus on really high-end contemporary gallery-esque pieces that are, you know, limited edition, where we don't mass produce anything, because they simply just require too much time and skill to mass produce, and then you're left with you know, too many, and you know, who wants to own one of a million? So instead we you know, we do an artist proof or a prototype, and then, you know, we'll make a series of 8 or 10 or whatever, depending on the piece, you know.
Awesome.
Not every piece, but you know, most of them. You know, collectible design is what we focus on. And these are sold in galleries in Paris and New York and London, and you know, in capital cities around the world. And you know, that's what we do.
Awesome. And if you want to see some of these renderings and some of the actual furniture, it's on his Instagram, right?
Yep.
Troy Smith.
Troy Smith Studio. My Instagram is Troy Smith Studio, and the website is the same. It's troysmithstudio.com.
Awesome.
And there you can find my contact information, my email, reach out to me, say hello, whatever, you know, follow, like, and subscribe. You know, if you see something you like, you know, reach out and maybe we'll work together. Who knows?
Awesome. So at the beginning of this, or the beginning stages of this project that I'm taking on, we're going to be looking at how we're going to build the fixturing for the bends, because there's multiple bends and different angles to this rebar table. So we'll get into the CAD and some 3D printing with some tooling, and it's going to be really exciting. And thanks a lot, Troy, for especially coming out here and entrust me with this project and your vision for this project. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, I found Rob on Instagram, which is a great place to, you know, share and find like-minded people. And Rob displayed, you know, the certain characteristics I look for in shops where they can not only do the work, but also have an artistic vision along the ways. And those are the best shops, is where, you know, you get the combination of the two, because you need the artist touch and the know-how to actually, you know, complete the work, because you know, at the end of the day, it has to be perfect, and we need experience, and you know, that's what we're looking for.
Perfect. Okay, so let's get right into the build. So this is the 3D CAD file I got from Troy, and what we're going to do is make some templates for the bends in the leg. And I'll zoom up to this bottom leg, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace around it and then print out a leg on my 3D printer, or a template for this radius. You can see it here on my software for 3D printing, and now I can upload it to my 3D printer. I made a little fixture here so I can spread it up. Just making sure that it fits my 3D print. Now for the next part, I made this fixture because there's about a 29-inch diameter curve to the leg. So this here is that diameter, or I have part of the radius here. And what's gonna happen is I'm gonna heat up the legs and put them in the fixture like this. And I'm going to start with this part here, heating it up, starting to straighten up, make these two pieces parallel, and I'm going to start bending it over that fixture. So for the next setup, I'm going to make a radius around this section here. So this is going to be bent out. So I have this fixture for the bend, and then I'm going to put the 45-degree angle after that. So let's heat this all up, this section here, so I can bend it. For the final bend on the legs, it's basically the same fixture. We're putting it in there, and it's going to bend around this radius and on a 45-degree angle. that was the first part of our build, getting our legs all done. Now, that 15 minutes of footage actually took about 2 weeks to do. We had to make the fixtures for everything, test out the bends, test out how we were going to put it in the forge to do those bends, and it took a lot of work. So thanks for watching Bonifabcustom, and don't forget to subscribe and push that button for notifications for the next part of this rebar table build. Thanks for watching.